Program Director, local government stakeholders from civil society, members of the Good Governance Learning Network, SALGA, academics, ladies and gentlemen, comrades and friends. A very, very good morning to everyone, and please accept my sincerest apology for not being physically present at this important gathering today. I am in fact in Johannesburg attending the Metropolis Annual General Meeting, which brings together 137 metropolitan municipalities from 40 countries. The theme of this year's meeting is Inclusive Metropolitan Cities and City Regions. I'm participating in a session dealing with the localization of the Sustainable Development Goals, the New Urban Agenda and the Paris Climate Change Agreement. These are themes that relate directly to the theme of the Good Governance Learning Network's 2018 State of Local Governance publication, titled Developmental Local Government, Dream Deferred. We thank the Good Governance Learning Network for yet another excellent State of Local Governance publication. The report presents a rich tapestry of civil society perspectives on the state of local governance in South Africa and makes an important contribution to our national discourse. The poet Langston Hughes asks the question, what happens to a dream deferred? Does it dry up like a raisin in the sun, or fester like a sore and then run? Does it stink like a rotten meat, or crust and sugar over like a syrupy sweet? Maybe it just sags like a heavy load. Or does it explode? These are very real and relevant questions that we must ask in relation to our national project of building a developmental state and in particular developmental local government, especially the governance thereof. Good governance is, amongst others, about creating transparency, accountability, greater civil society participation in public affairs, and building strong relations between government and its citizens. The concept of developmental local government establishes the basis for a system of local government that is centrally concerned with working with local citizens and communities to find sustainable ways to meet their needs and improve the quality of their lives. In response to the challenges in local government sector, the government has adopted the Back to Basics program that is anchored on 5 pillars, which involve putting people first, ensuring delivery of quality municipal services, good governance, sound financial management, and building capable, resilient institutions. Furthermore, the department has deployed a team of experts to assist 87 identified municipalities worst affected by a range of challenges: administrative, financial management, and infrastructure and service delivery. This support will assist them to overcome some challenges in the short term and be sustainable in the long term beyond the period of intervention. To strengthen government promotion of developmental local government, service delivery war rooms have been established in 6 provinces. These are meant to improve government responsiveness to service delivery, governance and communication challenges, and thus raise the level of satisfaction with government performance. Many of the ingredients have been put together for effective, responsive and participatory local government. Yet, for all of the achievements, and there are many, despite what one would think by reading the newspapers sometimes, many would argue that government still has to invest more in promoting participatory governance, and that is, many would argue, the Achilles heel of the system. Program Director, local government is the sphere of government which gives concrete expression to social justice and the protection of human rights, where the apartheid legacy of underdevelopment should be addressed, including the persistence of apartheid spatial patterns. The National Development Plan envisages that by 2030, South Africa will have a state that is capable of playing a developmental role and a transformative one. In broad terms, a defining aspect of that state is that it will intervene to support and guide development in such a way that benefits accrue across society as a whole, especially to the poor. The NDP further envisages a state that is accountable, focused on citizens' priorities, and capable of delivering high-quality services consistently and sustainably through cooperative governance. South Africa's national urban policy, the Integrated Urban Development Framework, which was adopted by Cabinet in April of 2016 and which is based on the National Development Plan, argues that urban spaces are shaped by a multiplicity of stakeholders, and that promoting good governance and strengthening public participation are critical. Indeed, 2 of the IUDF's 9 policy levers are devoted to empowered active communities, that's lever 7, and effective urban governance, that's lever 8. The IUDF argues that we must strengthen transparency and accountability. Government needs to be accountable to and understand its impact on all population groups. Therefore, priority should be given to interventions contained in the Back to Basics program in order to promote transparency and democratic decision-making. Innovative technology and other mechanisms should be used to build trust and increase transparency and accountability. We must strengthen participatory governance. The IUDF argues that the local participatory governance system needs to be urgently reviewed and brought into line with the NDP's recommendations. Properly funded, citizen-led, neighbourhood vision and planning processes should be encouraged, and able and motivated people developed who will participate in civic, social and economic and political activities. The revised system should encourage engagements at neighbourhood, not ward, level, and use existing relevant community platforms. Citizens should be involved in planning, designing and managing their neighbourhoods. This will bring integration and cohesion among community members, irrespective of their age, social or racial differences. The IUDF makes the point that in accordance with the NDP, government should also engage with people in their own forums, rather than only in forums created by the state. Government should assist in establishing community-created forums that bring together stakeholders to share, understand and learn from each other, thereby promoting social learning. Local communities can also benefit from the skills, enterprise and networks of new arrivals, which would reduce xenophobia and migrant exclusion. Furthermore, special mechanisms should be developed to enable vulnerable groups to participate, particularly the illiterate, blind, hearing impaired and outsiders in communities. Resources must be made available to facilitate these dialogues and build the capacity of ordinary citizens and social facilitators. Active citizenry at neighbourhood level should complement and enhance the efficiency of the ward committee system. In developing these community engagement models, lessons learned from the existing forums, such as community police forums, community health committees, and methods used successfully in other countries, should be considered. The IUDF stresses that we must invest in people's capabilities. Education enables people to understand societies, cultures, and religions other than their own, instilling respect and appreciation of diversity and empowering those who are marginalized or excluded from participating in discussions and decision-making. In partnership with civil society and other role players, municipalities should explore models for equipping community members with the necessary skills to participate meaningfully in government. Citizenship education and training in planning, project management, and budget, institutional and spatial literacy is needed to strengthen community organizations. Community activists and workers should be equipped with skills in community organization, management, and planning. This will enable effective engagement with the broader municipal planning systems, ensuring that neighbourhood community visions are integrated and help local government to become sufficiently responsive to community needs and opportunities. The IUDF emphasizes that we must also build institutional capacity to engage. Multi-stakeholder processes are complex and require particular facilitation skills. Capacity should be built at local level to develop and implement area-based management plans. This means that capacity building within government should not be limited to the units or the sections responsible for coordinating public participation or stakeholder engagement, but should be mainstreamed in all departments. This will require partnerships with relevant NGOs and academic institutions to explore co-production mechanisms to and solutions to service delivery challenges. Government generally, and municipalities in particular, need to rethink service delivery business models and value chains in order to work in dynamic ways with citizens and their organizations. In turn, community-based organizations will have to learn what it means to operate as social enterprises that contribute to the broader good and be competent, accountable and part of a larger institutional system. Public and private stakeholders, from grassroots thinkers to city officials, should convene to discover how they can work together and how top-down and bottom-up planning solutions can complement and enrich each other. This implies collaboration and participation between a variety of people from different backgrounds and with varying levels of expertise. Models and incentive packages for social compacts must also be developed to ensure that everyone participates in shaping and developing their neighborhoods and that competing interests are managed. These compacts should address the responsibilities of the state, the private sector and the citizenry. Government should partner with civil society, business and academia to drive initiatives that empower neighborhoods and reward innovative practices. Program Director, the Good Governance Learning Network and other civil society formations have a critical role to play, particularly with regard to inputs in informing the review of the legislative framework on community participation in local governance. The objectives of this exercise would be to strengthen the legislative and policy framework for public participation in local government. And I think the publication that is being launched today already starts to make a very valuable contribution to that process. It is to broaden the approach on public participation over and above the ward committee model and open up possibilities for innovation and experiment with appropriate tools to enhance public participation. It also seeks to identify minimum requirements for municipalities to fulfill obligations of participatory governance and give effect to the redesigning of applicable guidelines for various public participation models to be applied across the spectrum. The anticipated outcomes for the revised framework will guide municipalities in the development and implementation of strategies and mechanisms to engage with citizens, business and civil society and assist municipalities with practical implementation of a well-planned resource and structured participation program. Thus, the implementation of the revised public participation policy will promote greater accountability and transparency and empower communities to hold government accountable. Civil society actors can further enrich our developmental role in local government through, firstly, expertise on community-driven social, economic development, sustainable livelihoods and capacity development. Secondly, supporting the development of new participatory planning methodologies based on assets-based community development, community-based planning, sustainable local economic development. Thirdly, to use action and research methodologies to help undertake diagnostics, reflections and planning in processes of public participation. Fourthly, to increase public confidence in local government and develop better mechanisms of citizen engagement. Fifth, to strengthen community participation in municipal processes, i.e. ward committees and IDP fora. Sixth, mobilization of resources and implementation of new innovative ideas that support government to be more effective, responsive and accountable. I would like to conclude by engaging Langston Hughes's question, "What happens to a dream deferred?" by quoting extracts from Ben Okri's poem, "Is Humanity Exhausted?", which appears in his work, Mental Fight, an anti-spell for the 21st century. Okri writes, "Is humanity exhausted? Individuals are, nations are, some civilizations are becoming so, but humanity isn't. The hungry nations are hungry still, the starving people dream of food, the unfree fight for freedom, the oppressed plan for liberation, the small scheme for might, the invisible prepare for higher visibility. They are only exhausted who think that they have arrived at their destination, the end of their road, with all their dreams to hold. There is no exhaustion where there is much to be hoped for, much to work towards, and where the dreams and sufferings of our ancestors have not been realized or redeemed." I thank you very much, and I wish you well in today's very, very exciting conference, and we hope that the outcomes of those deliberations are going to enhance governance at a local level and build a developmental state. Thank you very much.